quickly. I might have had last year's up, but we can look at the ones from before. So when we take a look at irrational numbers, we have already talked about those when we talked about our rationals. Key thing, remember, with rational is that it can be a decimal that repeats and ends. And I mentioned yesterday that question from our homework, so some of you still aren't on this page of your notes, you want to get there. We're going to try and get through this quickly so that we can give you a little more time on homework. Yep. It is on page like 17 towards the beginning, A6, so way towards the front. So a rational number, I'm going to ask this on the test, right? You are going to be asked to write down for me what is a rational number. And what I am looking for is this, a number that can be written as a fraction. You would want to write this part down. It includes whole numbers, integers, well, we already said fractions, so you probably don't have to have that again, terminating and repeating. So a fraction, whole numbers, integer, and notice this part. It includes square and cube roots, but only of our perfects. So the ones that you had to memorize, all of those are considered rational numbers. Okay? So if I say the square root of 49, you tell me it's a rational number because it's whole. But if I said the square root of 48, not one that we memorized, right? That would be an irrational. So irrational cannot be written as a fraction. They include non-terminating, non-repeating, and of our square and cube roots, the not perfect. Okay? And everything that we study this year is real. So if I ever ask you that question, what kind of numbers are they? Which ones are real numbers? Every single one of them. Every single one that we study this year are real numbers. So is everyone on this page? Okay. All right. So we are not going to take a look at this video, but I want you to notice this irrational one. It has a pattern, right? But just because it has a pattern does not mean it repeats. So again, we talked about this the other day in class. Whole numbers, that's like 0, 1, please write that down, 2. Integers, what makes it different is that you're going to have the negatives. So -1, -2. Could I have -10 divided by 5? Yeah, because that's -2, right? So I can write these as fractions here as long as they actually don't have a fraction or decimal when I write them. But here for rational, this might be a -7/5 because it's a fraction, right? It might be, because I had some people thinking in their homework that when they did negatives, that made it always an integer. It doesn't. It just means that this could be -1.74, right? That is a decimal that terminates. So make sure you write those in on your notes on that page, right? So I gave some examples. We're not going to look at this video. I think it just kind of is showing those irrational. And I think that 0.9 yesterday was kind of enough. But now look down below. So think about this. Fraction, whole, integer, terminating, and repeating. Square roots that are perfect and cube roots that are perfect. What I would like you to do right now to be underlined. Pi has to be underlined, right? So there's going to be 4 underlines. The next, another underline would be what? The one's right towards the bottom here. Can't kind of see it. It's off my screen. But this one, this is definitely an irrational, right? Okay, I had someone else, yep? Square root 9. No, if I can't underline it. Why can't I underline square root 9? What does it equal? Square root of 9 equals what? Square root of 9 is equal to what number times itself gives us 9? You're going to have this on the quiz today, right? This has to be a circle. Yep, which other one?
27.3.
Say it one more time.
27.3.
27.3 should be underlined. What kind of decimal is it? Terminating. Terminating. Rational. Can't be underlined. Yep, got one?
1.3.
1 point. Where is that one? Oh, 1.3 repeating. Can't, right? It repeats. Repeat and terminate is rational. Repeat and terminate is rational. You got one for me? Square root 10. I can underline square root 10. So I got 3. There's one more that I have to have underlined. I got someone else. What do you think? What's my other drawing? Square root 22. 5/3, fraction, terminating, whole number, fraction, fraction, integer, whole number. All the rest should be circled, right? So it is really important that you get down that definition of understanding those. So, don't you guys think you guys should stop fighting? You're both being irrational. Both 8 is saying that to pi and square root 2. Both irrational, right? Pi, square root 2. 8 is a whole number, right? Could be so irrational. That's all right if you don't. So, it says various types of numbers are listed here. Top the next page. I want you to put an R for rational, an I for irrational, a B for both, or an N for neither behind all of those. Okay? Go through and do it right now. Numbers. We're going to have an R. So when I take a look at whole numbers, I need an R. If I go integers, so keep going. What do you have, Elijah? Rational, irrational, whole numbers. What do you think? Do you have a letter down? Gotta have a letter. Let's go, Daniel. Rational. Should be rational. If I go fractions, should be rational. Square roots that are perfect. Rational. Cube roots that are perfect. Cube roots that are perfect. Turn back. So this would be like the cube root of, and I put this 3 up here, of 64. That actually equals 4. So this is going to be a rational. Okay? If it's perfect, that's the key thing. If it's perfect, it's rational. Now I go up here for terminating. What do you think? Rational. I have a repeating. What am I looking at, Ashley? Which one? Rational. Now it doesn't repeat, doesn't end. What am I looking at, Grace? Neither. So how about if I have this? We underlined it on the page before. Something like 5, 2, 5, 5, 2. That doesn't repeat, right? And it doesn't end. And now I'd have, that is going to be a irrational. This would be like my square root of 2, or something like that. Now, I probably shouldn't put that. Square roots that are not perfect, like square root 2. That's going to be what kind? If we are looking at it, Caitlin.
Irrational.
That's irrational. And cube roots that are not perfect? Irrational. And I will tell you, these are the ones that people want to call irrational the most often, even though we've changed them to fractions in our homework. And then over here, the roots, they sometimes want to think of those ones. So it says, which type of numbers are real? What did we say? Every kind of number we're dealing with in 8th grade is what? Real. Which ones above are real numbers? All of them, right? Every single one of those types of numbers are real numbers. All of those are real. Now, as you take a look at that next page in your notes, right? I need you to write the numbers that are on the side here in one of the categories. For example, and the nice thing for me is I have this little tool up here so I get to actually move them, but you're going to write them, okay? So, if I'm looking at square root 3, it's a non-perfect square root. What kind of number is it? Irrational. You don't get to move yours quite like that. I wish you could. You're just going to write them in the right spot. So please write down the number. So if I am looking at, the square root of 1. What's the square root of 1 equal to? 1. I got to move that to a whole number. Okay? So you're going to simply write yours in, and then I'm going to move all of them, okay? So do your writing first, and then we'll check it in just a minute, okay? Write them in where you think. I'm going to call on different people so that we can put them in. So make sure you put yours in. And then once you have yours written, check with the person sitting by you or next to you and see if you agree or disagree on any of them. Okay? So like I said, today's homework, I'm going to let you keep working on those because some of you don't have them all crossed off and written in. You got to do all of them. Cross both sides of the list off. Look back at the other pages of notes. Oh, this is this kind of a number, right? That's okay. Give me a thumbs up when you're done. I didn't index the homework quiz from the other day. I'm going to do that also. I see some of you thumbs up, some of you still not. Patrick, here you go. Sandy, no. Wyatt. Matt. Right? Yeah. Going. We about ready to go through this? Hunter. All right, let's do this and then I'll finish handing these out. 2 7s. So I'm going to continue with my list from where we left off. So we are up in front with Abigail. What did you have for 2 7s? Rational. Yes. Square root 16. Whole numbers. I agree. 4. 4/3 if we are going. What'd you have? Bashir, did I say it right? Okay. 4/3. Rational. Square root 100. What do you have, Riley? Whole number. If we are looking at 5, what are we going to have, Matt?
Whole number.
Going to have Matt? That one is a whole number, right? So we have a lot in our whole numbers. We're going over here to square root 29, right? So if I'm going square root 29, what are you going to have? What's it equal to? Like 5? Is that one of our perfect squares? Nope. So where does it have to go if it's not perfect? It has to go irrational. If you didn't put it there, please put it there. Bert, you ready? Square root 12.
Whole number.
Whole number. What does it equal?
6.
Wait, you're thinking of 12 divided by 2. We want to take the square root of 2. That is good. I'm not glad that you made a mistake, but I think there's other people that think that way too, right? So when you think of square root 12, we want to say what number times itself. 2 times gives us 12. And it's not going to be 2 or 6, right? Because 6 times 6 is 36, and 2 times 2 is 4. So square root 12 has to be non-perfect, right? It's one of those you didn't memorize, right? Okay? So if we are looking, Nolan, where do you have square root 3? Integer. And if we're looking at square root 99, Sam, it's going to be irrational. It's, again, one we didn't memorize. And if I have 23 11ths, what do you have, what?
Irrational.
Irrational. It's a what? What is this? It's a fraction. Where are all fractions? Big definition of all fractions? Rational. Okay, does that make sense? So, make sure yours looks the same. Make sure you have the numbers in the right spot. And I have cards, like little cards, flashcards that we can practice. I have some that are here for you to sort and look at and to try and classify. If you are really struggling with this might be an activity that we take a look at next week. But come in and see me. We need to make sure you're getting this down. So right now, start writing, because this is what your quiz is going to look like shortly. So, write.